Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing Softrain in the 5-minute pool on ICC. Let's play a Queen's Gambit Decline in this one. And I hope he doesn't play a Catalan, because I don't know a whole lot about the Catalan. There you go, he plays G3. Alright, well, you'll get to see me kind of feel my way through this opening from the black side. Let's take the pawn. Let's play A6. Yeah, and this move A4. Okay, bishop D7. This is roughly where my theoretical knowledge ends, I'll tell you, so be prepared. All right, bishop f4. So the point of putting this bishop on c6 is to oppose their bishop on g2. Let's play bishop d6. I don't know that I'm going to trade this bishop necessarily, but I want to just make some room maybe for my queen to come to e7. I would like to develop this knight, so knight bd7 makes sense to come. Okay, let's just do that. So it seems weird him playing bishop f4 and then bishop g5, but it's not unusual for the Catalan for this to happen. So I might want to play a5, but if a5, he can play e4. a5, e4, and I can't take because I would be losing a piece. So maybe h6? Yeah, let's play h6 and just put the question to the bishop. He takes. Probably I should take this way. Queen back. Okay, so e4 is on the agenda once again. Let's go here. Trying to use tactics to discourage the e4 advance. So if he plays it, I can remove the c3 knight and then take the pawn. That's the point. This bishop feels pretty comfortable on this square, I think. I could support that bishop with a5 if necessary down the line. He could play knight e5 if he wants, but I could take on g2 and maybe play c5 thereafter. So rook d1 just backing up his queen and the d pawn. Maybe queen d6. Queen e7. Queen e7 may be better. Yeah, let's go queen e7. Probably I want a rook on the d file and not my queen leading. Maybe someday I can play e5 too. I bet he plays knight e5 pretty soon, either right now or it might be interesting to move this bishop, like bishop h3 or bishop f1, and then follow with knight e5. No, he's just going to go for a trade immediately. Okay, so let's go here. And I think c5, trying to achieve c5, would be a constructive plan. Who is this IM? I've definitely played this player before. Softrain, anonymous IM. Even if they get off the file with the queen, like queen f3, I'll probably still play c5. Yeah, so queen f3, any reason not to play that? Because it defends the pawn on b7 nicely. Nah, let's just do it. If pawn takes, I could take with the queen or the bishop. Probably I should take with the bishop, though. Because there is the possibility of the knight coming back to d3. Yeah, let's take with the bishop. This also happens in the Catalan. Like, black wants to achieve the move c5, but even if they do, white can still try to squeeze some sort of advantage. They're often a bit better placed for resulting endgames. Their king is a bit closer to the center after this trade on g2. Okay. So if I take, queen takes, we can swap a bunch of stuff. I could also play bishop d4 here. That would be interesting. Bishop d4, knight takes f6. What do I think of that resulting endgame? Bishop d4, knight takes f6, queen takes f6, queen takes, pawn takes, knight d3. I should have reasonable play there. I don't think I blunder anything by doing this, so yeah, let's play it.
Check.
Okay, he's going to go for the endgame, it looks like. Knight coming back to d3. So the knight is well placed on d3. There's no denying that. It defends b2. So if I play rook c8, he'll play rook c1. Might be inevitable that there's a trade, at least, of a pair of 1 rooks down the file, though. I kind of think I should play f5. Maybe e5. I'm not sure which pawn I want to advance. I mean, I'd like to go e5, e4, and try to shake that knight. Okay, let's play f5 for now, though. Somehow this move feels right. I mean, putting the pawns on light squares does complement my dark square bishop. b3. Maybe just bring my king up. Yeah, let's do that. King e7. Looks about level. Typically with pawns on both sides of the board, we wouldn't feel at all bad about having the bishop versus the knight. But the knight is so well placed on d3 in the Catalan because it can't be attacked by pawns typically. Like there's no c-pawn remaining for me to come up and attack it with. I have an e-pawn, but e5, e4. Problem with that is like the f5 pawn becomes weak. So I don't know that I'll be playing that move. This might allow bishop e3, but then he can trade and play king f3, which is probably fine for him. So the king is coming up now. Bishop e3, take, king f3, bishop d4. Probably they want to play rook c1 then. Take, king e7. I think I'll have decent play on the dark squares in that line, so let's try that. They need to get this bishop out of here, so I'm expecting king f3. Maybe knight e5? Knight e5, I was thinking rook c3, actually. Could be decent. Or f6. What's up with f6? f6, knight c4, though. Okay, let's play rook c3. They can play rook d7, give the b-pawn, but go after my king. Gotta watch the time. We have a roughly equal amount of time. They could play rook d3 here. Nope, they're going to go for it. Okay, I think I got to take this way. I got to give up f7.
Check.
And I'm going to come here with my king. They can maybe go after h6. Okay. This is probably too important of a pawn. The e6 pawn. I don't want to let it go. Let's bring this here. Attack their knight. They can play the knight to d3.
Check.
Or there. Okay, king d6 gets me mated. No, it doesn't actually. Okay, let's put this here then. So knight d3. What's up with knight d3? I want to attack e2. Oh, they're just going to do that. Okay. So I can take here at least now. Take, rook e3. Okay, let's do that. Let's go here now. So if they take, I can take, and I'm going to win e5, is the thing. Here, h5. Okay, I'm going to try to be greedy for a moment. Very low on time, both of us. Okay, let's bring this over. Check, and then I can push this pawn. Ooh, they're playing for mate. Okay, interesting. It's looking like a draw now.
Time.
Let's just go after that pawn. Yeah, this is a draw.
Draw?
Interesting endgame. I wonder if I had chances at the end of that. In the rook ending. Hard to say. They were both getting low on time, but right when he played king g5 into f6, I am only up one pawn here, and he has a very active king. Yeah, so I think a draw is fair from this position. What did I do? King g8 to avoid Rook a8 checkmate. I don't have time to grab that pawn on g3. I think this was a reasonably played game. Let's go back and have a look, though. Occasionally, I play the Queen's Gambit declined. I've never faced the Catalan when I played this opening. I've kind of just done it in specific situations where I have knowledge of what my opponent is likely to do. So in the Catalan, it's considered, I want to be careful with my words here. One of the most theoretically challenging moves is just to take the pawn on c4 and make white recover it. I don't want to say moves like c6 are worse, which a lot of people play, just kind of fortifying the center. But at higher levels, you will more often see black take the pawn and try to facilitate their development. Black is not hoping to hold on to this pawn most of the time. Sometimes there's crazy people who play b5 and open their position, even at the cost of allowing white's bishop to start attacking that rook on a8. But the main line is how I played it, so playing a6 here, letting white take the pawn back on c4 if they want, with the idea being that you play b5, and when the queen moves out of the way, bishop b7. So there's quite a bit of theory here. The plan for black is similar to what I illustrated in the game. I want to get in c5, get rid of this backward pawn, exchange it for white's d pawn. So I went for this line after a6, and my opponent played a4, which is a way to shut down b5 as a threat. So bishop d7 now. This seems like an awkward way to develop a bishop, but this is completely normal. White takes on c4. Knight e5 is another try, attacking the pawn on b7, getting the knight to a better square, and just delaying the capture for a move. So here, bishop c6. Yeah, and I said my theoretical knowledge ended right around here. I know some ideas in this line, I just do not know concrete move orders. So I played bishop d6, and now they went bishop g5. It would be interesting for white to keep this bishop on f4. So say they played like knight c3 or something, because if I take, this does strengthen white's center. You might recall a game I posted recently, my US Chess League game against FIDE Master Stephen Breckenridge, where I had a similar pawn structure with doubled f-pawns. But white does gain a nice clamp on e5 in doing that. So that is possible. Let me add the engine just to see. So after bishop d6, they played bishop g5. I played knight bd7, knight c3. I think a lot of these moves make sense. Now e4 is on the table for white, so if I played something like queen e7, I think I'm just inviting this move. And even though I'm hitting e4 twice, my knight is pinned, so in effect, I'm only attacking e4 with the bishop. This would just lose a piece if I played that. So I need to prevent the coming e-pawn advance, so I played h6. We swapped. White played queen d3, which does assist here. And I think bishop b4 is a good reply. So now I'm indirectly preventing e4, because if this happens, I can take, getting rid of one of the defenders of that pawn. And then after they take back, let's say with the b pawn, we can just go and grab e4. So bishop b4, he played rook fd1. I went queen e7, knight e5. It might be interesting for white to move this light square bishop to h3 or f1 and try to play, whoops, not to f2. Sometimes I get crazy with my arrows. But let's say bishop h3, and then try to play this move next without allowing an exchange. Because I am a bit cramped here, and because of that, white might want to avoid a swap of the bishops, like let me figure out what I'm going to do with that light square bishop. So in this case, rook fd8 is the engine suggestion, knight e5, and then bishop back to e8. Okay, so just making a nice square for the bishop to drop back. But now there is one extra set of minor pieces on board. I see the engine slightly likes black, but I don't know if that's completely obvious to me that black is better here. But as played, they just played the straightforward knight e5, and we got a swap. I played rook fd8, queen f3, and now c5. So I get in the thematic c5 move, because you want to chip away at white's center and try to trade the c pawn for the d pawn. Looks about equal after this. The engine eval is right on the triple zeros. So knight e4. I played bishop d4. It's possible that's a slight mistake. There's nothing wrong with this line. Bishop d4 just seemed interesting, so I played it. So take, and here I can play rook d5, really. Looking to double up the rooks. And I suppose that does not lose a pawn because of what? Rook d8 here after. And the queen is needed to defend the knight, so it can't wander too far. Queen e4, and now rook d4, attacking the queen again. Queen f5, g6. Okay, and we're just chasing the queen away, and eventually it won't be able to defend the knight. Yeah, like already here, there's no squares it can go to that will remain defending that knight. He has to sacrifice for it. And the computer likes black a little bit. Yeah, so there was nothing wrong with knight takes e4. But I played bishop d4. How long did I think on that move? Just looking at my time usage. Yeah, I spent about 45 seconds on that move. Maybe a little bit too long.
Check.
So now we get to this endgame. And I mentioned how in Catalan endgames, a lot of times white doesn't mind having a bishop versus a knight. There's some very nice Ulf Andersson games, the famous Swedish grandmaster and endgame aficionado. And I distinctly recall him winning some Catalan endgames with a knight on d3 just like this. Not even Catalan positions necessarily. There were some Catalan wins, but he's done this in other openings too. Because that knight is very hard to chase away, and it's got possibilities on the king side and the queen side. So it's well posted. I think roundabout here I said the position was equal, but if push came to shove, I would prefer playing white's position. I'd like a crack at the white side here. It's rook c1. I played f5. I was debating about which pawn to push. I want to try to gain some space over here and maybe make them think about e5, e4 in the future. f5 like feels like a good move, so I did it. Complements the bishop. b3. King here. f4 makes a lot of sense. This weakens the e3 square, but it does fix my pawns on light squares. And in the future, maybe white can play king f3, possibly e4 down the line. I played bishop e3. Maybe king e7 is simpler. This bishop e3 invites the coming invasion. Trade of rooks and then knight e5. Okay, and the engine does not like that. It says I should just play king e8. And in doing that, rook d7 doesn't work because I have f6 trying to drive away the knight, which is in turn defending the rook. So king e8, just nice and calm. And if knight c4 attacking the bishop and threatening here, I can just play bishop c5 with only a tiny edge for white. Okay. Yeah, in Blitz, you're much more likely to make counter-attacking moves rather than defensive moves if you have a choice between the two. So hence, I didn't really think about king e8. I don't think that move even crossed my mind. I was solely focused on gaining counterplay. I didn't want to slip into a passive position as our clocks were getting low. So rook c3 going after the pawn.
Check.
They went and took f7. So my h-pawn is kind of a goner. The computer seems to approve of how he's playing.
Check.
But I do gain some counterplay. Yeah, here I had a chance to play king d6, but it felt risky
Check.
after check and then here, and I'm a long ways from being able to, for instance, stop his h-pawn. Knight d3 check, king c4, and now h4. And the computer says, nice advantage for white. Yeah, it kind of looks to be the case. I mean, these pawns do not seem as dangerous as white's already passed h-pawn. Maybe white could advance it, and then at the right moment play knight e5, and assuming my bishop is still on d4 or one of these squares, it would be blocked out from defending the queening square. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just lost for black. My king hasn't really achieved much with this journey. I mean, what's it doing on c4? If it could attack a4, that's one thing, but on c4, I don't think it's operating very well. A more useful capacity for the king would be to stick around on the king side and try to stop his h-pawn, like I did in the game. Oh yeah, and king f6 would just get mated to rook f7. That's a good mating pattern to know.
Checkmate.
Rook, knight, and pawn. In my last Blitz video, you saw how well that unit can operate together. So king e8, he played h4. I just took the knight. Somehow I felt like I might be better here, but I think that's a complete illusion. Because, yeah, after this swap, I saw how weak his e5 pawn was, and I thought, well, I have a good chance just to win that. But I'm actually still down a pawn here. Yeah, it's 4 pawns versus 5 pawns, so I might have been thinking it was equal material. I think that was the case. But I am still down a pawn. So right here, The engine's saying +2 for white if rook a7. So that after takes, he can take here, and then he's double attacking these pawns. So let's say king f7, maybe rook takes a4, rook e3. Okay, I might win a pawn back. The transition to a rook and 2 versus rook and 3 pawn endgame, with pawns all on the same side of the board, should equal a draw for black, but I might be suffering. And with the clocks, it's going to be decided on the clock, not the board, most likely. But it's amazing how fast sometimes these single rook endgames that are either even or one pawn either way, one pawn advantage for white or black, it's amazing how fast they can just fizzle out to a draw, as you saw in the game. So he went here. I played a5 trying to retain that pawn. Maybe I was playing with fire a little bit. Yeah, I was surprised he didn't run the h-pawn. I was going to move my king over to try to stop it, but maybe he could have cooked up a little bit more trouble somehow. Maybe not. I mean, I think if you can get his pawn up to like h6 and the king coming here or here, threatening mate and maybe driving my king out towards the middle, then he might be winning. I mean, this would be a tricky position to hold, even down a pawn, or even up a pawn, rather, as black. But as played, he played e3. I played king f8. Probably a draw is the correct result. Check. King g5. I took here, king f6, so threatening mate. I got to go this way. Yeah, now he just cleans up my pawns, and I clean up his pawns too. Yeah. Total draw at the end. He did the gentlemanly thing and offered a draw. He didn't try to flag here with h-pawn, which is a complete draw. Pretty well played game. I think both of us can be happy with that one. He held a slight advantage with the knight on d3 in that endgame. Probably I should not have allowed this knight e5, rook d7 idea. Yeah, I probably should have just put the king on e7 or e8 prior to this happening. And it would have been roughly equal. So, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.